Are you ready?
Here we go.
Okay, let's do this. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Trip Tales, the podcast where real people share their real trip stories to give you destination inspiration and practical planning tips. This is an exciting episode because we are recording Trip Tales for the first time in audio and video. So you can continue to listen to Trip Tales audio podcast episodes wherever you listen to podcasts now. But starting today, you can also watch a video of me and my guest over on YouTube. Just search my name, Kelsey Graves, or Trip Tales Podcast on YouTube, and you should be able to find it. So today I'm joined by one of my good friends, Caroline. Caroline is a returning guest to the podcast. She was first on the pod sharing about her family's trip to Evermore Resort in Orlando, where they stayed at the Conrad Orlando on Evermore's property. So I will link that episode in the show notes. But she recently took a fun trip that started as a solo 10th birthday for her son to Seattle and LA, and then met up with her daughter and mother-in-law for the grand finale at Disney's Aulani Resort in Hawaii. So welcome, my friend. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast again.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk about this trip. It was such a wonderful trip.
I start every episode with a rapid fire get to know you. So remind everyone where you live, what you do, and about your family.
I live in Franklin, Tennessee. I own a bookkeeping firm, and I am married with 2 kids, a 10-year-old boy and a 7-year-old girl who is best friends with Kelsey's little sister or little daughter.
My little sister, my little
sister.
daughter.
I kind of think of my daughter as a sister sometimes. She just is my little mini me. But yeah, I have 2 kids in Franklin.
Yes, and our daughters are besties, and we need to go get on a trip with them. That would be
Yeah,
fun
we
to
do.
go out
Oh
of
my
town with
gosh,
them.
they would die. They would have so much fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this episode because Aulani is one of the most requested destinations.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one other episode that you guys can go listen to. But on that episode, the people that went did not go with kids. So it's a much different experience if you go with kids. So I'm excited for this one because this is Aulani with kids. And look at what you're drinking out of. She brought props.
I have all the props. It's better to watch this episode because you'll get to see all my fun things.
For listeners, she's drinking out of her Aulani souvenir cup.
Yes, I am. And that's a very special cup, too. We'll get into that.
Okay, I love it. Let's start with your son Brady's 10th birthday trip. So this started off as a solo trip with you and your husband and your son. I love this tradition. So when and how did you decide to start this 10th birthday trip tradition?
So we have some friends that do this with their kids. They have 2 kids that are older than mine. And they started it, and I loved it. We travel all the time. That's such a core part of our family. And so it seemed like, hey, let's create this tradition for our family. And 10 feels like a great time because they're old enough to have some independence, but want to have some time away from their sibling and they're starting to get into that age when they get into those preteen years where you really have to be intentional about the time and effort that you put into your kids as they start to be drawn more toward to their friends and away from their parents. And
because
so
in a few years, they're just going to
born.
want to be with their friends.
Right. My son, he gets off the bus in the evening and says, which friend can I play with? Hi, how was your day? None of that. So we decided to create this tradition. My daughter will get it when she turns 10. And we want it to be a really fun experience and for them to be very involved in the process. And so we have given them the power that you get to pick anywhere that we go. And we didn't say it had to be in the country, but we definitely would have pushed him that way if he hadn't have picked it in the first place. We only parameters really were it has to be done within a long weekend. So he has always been into planes, trains, and automobiles. He is a boy's boy. He likes wheels. He likes all of that kind of thing. And so even as a 10-year-old, he still loves trains, and he has always wanted to sleep on a train. So that is how this particular trip was born. Researching across the country, across the world, mostly across the country, I found this train. It's an Amtrak line that leaves from Seattle and drives for 36 hours down to LA. And so that was the core of the trip. And so we had to decide, do we want to start in LA and go to Seattle or vice versa? we flew to Seattle. He is a big baseball fan, plays baseball, loves baseball. So we went to a Mariners game. We stayed in a hotel literally across the street from the entrance to the Mariners game, which was wonderful. We got in early in the morning, took the train. They've got a much better public transportation system than we do in Nashville. Took the train to Pikes Place Market, so that he could see the area. My husband and I, fun tip, husband and I actually met living in Seattle. So it was kind of fun to show him our old stomping grounds. He did the gum wall in Seattle. I feel like that's a lesser known attraction in Seattle.
I've heard of it, but I'm surprised it's still popular after COVID.
Yeah, it's kind of gross, actually. It's an alleyway just right next to Pike's Place. So if you go to Pike's, it's very easy to get to. The fish throwing, it is right next to the fish throwing station, whatever you call
Market.
it. Booth, whatever.
Yeah.
And it is a wall probably 200 feet long on both sides, kind of like a little alley, and it has thousands of pieces of chewed up gum just stuck on the wall. It's so disgusting, but he did add one. He added a piece of gum. We had to go back to the market, buy gum so he could come back and put the gum on. But
I mean, I feel like it's gross, but for a 10-year-old boy, I think it's very memorable and cool, and that's something he will remember. So I would do the same thing if I was there with my son.
Yes. So we did do that. The original Starbucks is there on Pike's Place Market. The line was ridiculous. I would never wait in that line because a Starbucks is a Starbucks. We saw
Yeah,
it.
you're like, I can go around the corner to a different one and get the same drink.
Exactly. But then we took the train back to the hotel, went to the game. My son actually he got a practice ball, a batting practice ball. So that was kind of fun because it was like the birthday boy got a ball. And then back to the hotel, woke up and got on the train. We could walk to the train station from the hotel that we were in. So we really didn't have to do a lot of Ubering or taxi driving or trains or anything. So got
and
on
tell
the
people where
train.
you stayed in case anybody else has a baseball fan and wants to stay right across from the stadium.
Yeah. So we stayed at the Silver Cloud Inn. It was nothing fancy, but definitely checked all the boxes that we needed. Geographically, it was great. We loved it. So
perfect.
That was the intention of choosing that hotel.
Okay. But the train is the main event.
Train
and just
is the
to
main
tell
event.
you guys, we're, like I told you, recording video, and there's a feature on my recording platform where I can share my screen and show some photos. So I gathered some of my own photos. Caroline sent some photos. So sometimes while she's talking, I might be pulling up a photo just to kind of give some color and context to what she's talking about.
Mm-hmm. So we boarded the train, and in full disclosure, I think I had higher expectations than what we got. We did book a family room. So you are supposed to be able to sleep 4 people in this room. It was tiny, tiny, tiny. I mean, there literally wasn't a place to stand up when all the beds were out. So, and Amtrak doesn't really scream luxury either. It was fun. It was a really great experience, really great bonding time. We did stop multiple times all the way down to LA. Yep, that was it. That is exactly where we stayed. So where the mom in the blonde headed mom, that was my bed. My husband slept underneath, and then my son slept up top across from me.
So there are room for 4 if you needed it?
Yes, we could have had a 4th. It was very tight with 3. I'm not sure. It would have been very uncomfortable with 4 people. Let's just say that.
And then did you have this extra sitting space, or is this like the beds on top of these people?
Those are the beds.
Yeah. So you're like in one little spot and then you're rearranging it for sleeping.
Yes. So where they're sitting, that folds up into the seat, like where they are, and then it folds down into the bed. And then you can see what looks kind of like the slanted ceiling above them. That is the bottom of the bunk that folds out of the wall.
Okay.
I will tell you, I'm 5'9". Wait, pull that back up really quick. I'm 5'9", so I'm not a short person, but I was laying down with my head towards the window and my feet towards my son. And in the middle of the night, he woke up panicking because I think he had a nightmare or something because of the movement of the train. And I could not get to him because it's so close to the ceiling that I couldn't sit up. But legally, I think they have to have like a connector from the ceiling to the edge so you don't fall off. So I couldn't just swing around. So I got up on my hands and knees and had to like shimmy down and then throw my legs over the end and then like it was the most awkward. It was the most awkward, like 30 seconds. And of course my son's in his bed, like crying, and I cannot
Oh,
get to him.
and you're like, Liam, wake up.
Yeah, exactly. Where you at? Yeah, exactly. So that was interesting. The one thing that was really great about it is, we really didn't spend that much time in our cabin. They had a cabin that was just glass, like what would you call that?
We're like a viewing area.
Yes, like a
I
viewing
saw
area.
that
Yes.
pictures of that as well.
Yes. So we spent most of our time there. So there was one cabin, one area that had just seats, like comfortable seats facing out. And then another area had tables, kind of like picnic style tables. And we sat at the picnic tables pretty much the whole time. We brought lots of card games and not really board games, but some smaller things that you could pack. And we played a lot of games. Sky Joe, if anybody has ever heard of the game Sky Joe, we
I
played
haven't.
a
What's
lot of
Sky Joe?
It's a card game that's good for like age 10 because there's a tiny bit of strategy. There's a little bit of math.
Okay.
So it was great. It was really fun.
Okay, wait. Would you do it again? Would you do 36 hours on this train again?
Not happily.
Okay.
If my daughter, for some reason, said, hey, this is what I want to do for my 10th birthday, which I don't think she's going to, thank goodness. But if she had said, that's what I want, I would do it. But I definitely am not going to be going out of my way to do that again.
How were the meals? I'm assuming there's a eating car, a dining car. Like, how did that go?
There was a dining car. It was white tablecloth, and they had flowers on the table every time. But the food was, literally everything they made came out of a microwave.
Yeah, because you're on a train.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the one other thing, though, that we did not know that I wish we had known is they're from Seattle to Portland, and then again from somewhere to Santa Barbara in California. They had a tour guide come on, and in the cabin where we were most of the time, they had a microphone, and they were describing things that we were seeing as we were passing and talking about the history of the area and the history of the rail system. And I actually found that to be really interesting. And for anybody that goes to a lot of national parks, I wouldn't say we go to a lot, but we've been to several. They have these little national park passports. Have you seen these?
I have, and we haven't gotten them yet, and I regret it because we've already missed the Grand Canyon stamp, but those are so cute.
So we have these. We went to the Grand Canyon, but the one they have stamps for the train, which is cool.
Cute.
These bottom stamps right here are from, this was the first day and this was the second day. So this was Seattle to Portland, and then this one is the one in California, and you could get stamps. So the thing that was cool, they still, like, you could just stamp a piece of paper. That was what we did, and then we taped them in. But
smart.
We got some at Pearl Harbor too, but they had actual stickers, just blank stickers that you could stamp the sticker and then put the sticker in. So bring this, though, if you have it, if you do.
So at every national park, can you just ask for one of those, or do you buy them in the gift shops?
We bought ours at the Grand Canyon gift shop.
Okay.
They are for sale. They don't just give them away.
Okay. Got it.
The stamps, every national park has one of these stamps. Like we've got Zion and Bryce in here too. And then we bought these stickers just because they're just, kind of fun.
Prettier.
But
Yeah.
We've got Bryce and Zion and Grand Canyon we did last year. So they're just fun little keepsakes for the kids. And fun to kind of see where you've been.
Yeah, I love that. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So he got his train right in, he got his stamps, and then you arrived. Did this train go all the way to LA?
It did. It did go all the way to LA. We actually got off 2 stops early because we were staying in Hollywood instead of downtown LA. So we got off a little bit early and just got an Uber to our hotel because that was closer to our hotel than the LA train station would have been.
Okay.
And the reason we did is because we had one not very good night of sleep on the train, and then we were doing a full day at Universal Hollywood the next day. So we were getting in kind of late. We wanted to get to the hotel as quickly as we could because we were going to wake up and have a full day in Hollywood, and we thought, that's a lot. So so we got off and spent the night in Hollywood at the Sheraton Universal in Hollywood, which was wonderful. I like Sheratons, but I was very impressed with this Sheraton. It was nice. There it is. And it
Look
looks
at
a
the
little
minion in the
old school
background.
Oh yeah, there he is. We could see that from our room, which is kind of fun.
So you can walk or get pretty close to Universal from here.
You can walk. So they do have a shuttle, but for us, it was like a 7-minute walk or something, and the shuttle only came every, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes. So we were like, well, if it's there when we get, like, when we walk out, we'll take it. But otherwise, we'll just, you know, walk over. And so we ended up walking there and walking back. But was a really nice hotel. I did not have high expectations, but I was impressed with the hotel. So I do
Awesome.
recommend that hotel.
Did you have time to go to this pool, or were you guys just sleeping and then off to Universal?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was definitely a quick stopover, but it was a great location, impressed with the hotel. After after the train, my husband and I got a drink at the bar and brought it up to our room to just kind of decompress for a minute because we had to shift all of our luggage around and yeah.
Yeah.
But so then we woke up the next morning and walked to Universal, which was super fun. Easily did the whole park in one day. So my son had just finished the third Harry Potter book at the end of the end of the school year. And so we wanted to go to Universal to be able to go to Harry Potter. For those of you out there listening that have been to Universal in Orlando, it is significantly smaller than Orlando. There's only one park there's only one park period, but there's only one park that has the Harry Potter stuff. It does have Butterbeer. It's got a couple of the same rides that Orlando has, but not all of the same rides. And there is no Hogwarts Express. There's no train ride, which I was kind of bummed about, but it is what
Have
it
you guys
is.
been to the Orlando Universal?
We have not.
Okay.
We've been to Disney in Orlando, but we have not
Yeah.
been to Universal. My kids are probably at an age now where they would enjoy, I mean, we enjoyed Hollywood, but they would enjoy that. But the trips that we've taken down to Orlando, we've wanted to get all the Disney stuff done
While they're
because
little.
I feel like
Yeah.
at some point you age out of that. So,
Exactly. But I feel like there are pros and cons to a smaller park because you feel like you can actually kind of like tackle it and do it in a day as opposed to, now Disney or Orlando Universal has the two parks side by side and Epic Universe. Like it's a whole different beast. So I feel like
mhm.
this is kind of nice for the trip you had with your son to be like, We're going to one park, we're doing
Yeah,
what we can, and it's all about him. Like he can do whatever he wants. It's not like, well, Kinsley would really like to ride, this sweet little ferry ride, and he's like, well, I don't want to do that. So this is kind of
right.
fun that he just had you guys to himself.
Yes, it was. And we did buy the express tickets. It's kind of like Fast Pass at Disney. And that was worth it because there were a couple longer lines, but there was a not kitty, but like a smaller roller coaster in Harry Potter that was the Flight of the Hippogriff, is what it's called. They
They
have
have
that in
that in
Orlando.
Orlando as well. It's cute.
That was my son's favorite. And so we went there first when it first opened. We went, I think, 2 times maybe when it first opened, and then later on when it just like the line was still not very long, and then we ended up using our pass. I think he went on it 5 times.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, so that was all worth it. I mean, the express was great. It worked really well for our trip.
Awesome. And so you guys have a great full day at Universal. And then are you spending the night again at the Sheraton, or are you off to a different hotel?
So, we were on the go this trip.
You
So
were.
when we finished our day at Universal, we went back to the hotel, but only to grab our luggage. And then we grabbed an Uber and took an Uber to an airport hotel. I want to say it was the Hilton or something. I
Yeah.
don't honestly, like, it was just an airport
Yeah.
hotel.
Whatever worked.
Yes. And we met my daughter who was there with my mother in law. My mother in law had kept her at home while we did this birthday trip with my son. And so she flew with Kinsley out to LA. We met them in LA, spent the night at the airport hotel because we had a relatively early flight, like 8 a.m. or something the next day out to Hawaii.
Okay.
So it was
Real
good. We
quick.
were go, 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 go. So then we were ready for Hawaii to just kick our feet up and have a Mai Tai.
Absolutely. Before we go to Hawaii, I just have a few more questions about this trip with your son. So,
Yeah.
how was it traveling with one kid? Like, what are some of your memories of that? And did you get some like one-on-one conversation time that just doesn't happen? Like, how did that all go?
So there were amazing things and some sad parts too. So my son actually talks to me quite a bit. We spend time talking before bedtime to, delay bedtime. So it was nice, but it was nice to have this dedicated space where Nobody else was interrupting. It was just the 3 of us. So that was really special in a time that we will not ever be able to replicate in that way without doing this sort of thing again. But I missed my daughter a lot more than I thought I was
I
going
remember you
to.
telling me that.
I had like this trip, that trip, I kind of felt like I had a hole in my heart. Like
Oh,
it like having all these fun experiences and being like, "Oh, well, we're missing." Like, I'm like even kind of teary.
I
I
know.
was like,
I am too.
so we missed, I mean, when we were in Universal in the Uber, or when we left Universal and we were in the Uber to go see her, was having like physical reactions about,
Oh,
I need to get there. I need to see her. I need to squeeze her. So that was hard because that like kind of played into the emotion of being with my son. But I can't take away from the special time that I had with my son too. And the
yes.
way that our family works, my son and my husband spend a lot of time together, and my daughter and I spend a lot of time together. We just, we have a divide and conquer situation at our house. And so it was special to get that time
Yes.
with for me to get that time with my son. So, I mean, I highly recommend that if that is in your ability, in
I
anyone's
think
ability
it's
to do.
interesting that you said that because we still have not done the one-on-one trips. Now, sometimes something works out, like you're on a trip with a kid because of like a baseball or a dance, or,
Yeah.
soccer situation. But we haven't like done an intentional, we're going somewhere that you want to go to with, dad and I type thing.
Mhm.
And I think it's because I'm struggling with that same thing you were just talking about, which is if we're going to New York City, which we went to New York City for my daughter's 13th birthday, but I like wanted the other kids to see New York City too. And I feel like there's only so many like trips and days and weekends that I'm like, it's hard for me to be like, well, this is just yours. And so I'm trying to
Mhm.
figure out what age that would be for me. Cause I'm sure I'll get there where I'm like, oh my gosh, now the years are ticking down. I have a handful of friends that just sent their kids off to college. And every single time they send me a picture, I cry. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is like coming for me quick. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know if that's clearly we've already passed 13. So if that's 16, if that's 18, if that's the summer after, which it probably shouldn't be the summer after they graduate high school because I've seen friends in that phase and you're very busy during that phase. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what that is for us because I do want those memories with each kid.
Mhm.
But for some reason so far, I'm like, but everybody needs to go here. So I like
Mhm.
can't pull the trigger on it yet.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it with my daughter when she turns 10. I mean, we want to also feel obligated to at this point, but I could see us doing something similar to this again, like maybe when they turn 16,
More of like an out of the country thing, maybe.
maybe,
Yeah.
but taking the sibling. They get to choose, like they get to plan it, they get to choose, it's their trip, but their sibling comes
Cool.
because our family unit doesn't, it just feels incomplete without everybody. So
Yeah.
but it can still be special and for that kid and, you know, I could see us doing that again, but not yet.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to Hawaii, which is probably why a lot of people are listening to this because Aulani is a hot spot. In your notes, I saw a little mention that y'all flew first class. Is
We
that
did.
right? That is fabulous.
We did. It was, I mean, it's definitely not in our nature to fly first class all the time or often at all. It was my kid's first time flying first class. You know,
I
they
know. I
say
need to hear
once you've done
everything.
it, you can't go back. And I'm
I
like,
know.
that maybe it was a mistake.
Tell me everything. Did
Oh,
mother-in-law fly first class too?
yes, all 5 of us went first class. It was one of those situations that it wasn't that much more I mean, it was more expensive, obviously, but it
Yeah.
wasn't that much more expensive than just flying coach, and it's a very long flight. Even from
Yeah.
LA, I think it was almost 6 hours.
Yeah. That's long.
So, you get meals and movies and special attention and,
Was Kinsley just living her best
oh,
life?
her best life. She, and there's the seats are big. She
Yeah.
looked like was, like, swallowed up in them. I have this picture of her hugging her stuffed elephant, and I mean, it's, like, one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken of her just sitting in her seat.
I love it. Did you get your champagne?
Yes, I
Yes.
did, of course.
I'm like,
Of
I know
course
you
I
say you're not really first class, but there's a dose of you that's first class.
Well, there's a dose of me that definitely wants to be first class. A big dose of that.
Same, same. Okay, so fun. So you guys have comfortable seats. You get to watch your movies, have your champagne, have your meals, and then you arrive to the Honolulu airport. So how was the airport in Honolulu?
So the airport is one of those fun tropical kind of airports where a lot of it is outdoors. And so you kind of get that fresh sea breeze and the sounds and the smells of the tropics. So that's inviting from the get-go. We ended up booking pre-arranged transportation to get to the hotel. So the Disney Aulani has a dedicated shuttle service. It is third party, but they only do shuttle servicing between the airport and the Disney Aulani. It's called the Healy shuttle.
The what?
Healy. Oh, I'm gonna give you all kinds of fun names. For anyone who actually like knows the Hawaiian language, I'm sorry if I'm butchering anything throughout this podcast.
Okay,
But
how is it like Heali? H
Hele.
Hele. Healy Healy. Okay.
Healy. So it's $25 a person one way, or $10 if your kid is under 2, and they will provide a booster. They will provide car seat. They provide what you need. They obviously load your luggage, all of that. So for all 5 of us to get there, it was $125. They say anywhere from a 30 to a 45-minute drive, depending on traffic, because it is Honolulu. So if you go during rush hour, you're probably going to get stuck in traffic on the highway. But I guess we arrived at good times because we never had traffic when we were out on the highway. But it was great because you get there, you call, they show up, you get loaded, and they take you straight to the resort. And
Nice.
there we were. We got there.
Awesome. So before you got to the resort, what were your first impressions of Oahu as you're driving like from the airport to the hotel? Is it immediately tropical feeling or is it kind of like city feeling?
So when you're driving, you can see glimpses of the ocean at times, but you're just on the highway.
Mm-hmm.
So really neither. I mean, you can see Honolulu at one point when you're driving, but Honolulu is more on the water. So it just kind of feels like you're driving through a pseudo mountainous, not very exciting highway.
Yeah, you're just trying to get to the resort.
Right. I mean, once you get to the resort and once you can see the ocean, those are different vibes, but there wasn't a lot of that on the drive.
Okay. So you arrive to Aulani. Is there a wow factor when you arrive? Is it beautiful? Like, what's it like arriving to Aulani?
So we were all super excited to get there. They do have this beautiful entrance area with a big sign and a waterfall and water features. And I mean, I think the excitement might even outweigh any sort of like first impressions because it doesn't matter what it looks like because you're here, you're in Hawaii, this is the entrance.
I pulled up a picture of the lobby for those that are listening, which is very Hawaiian, like lots of wood and yellows.
So the first impression I remember having is it feels Hawaiian. You know, like you can go to a tropical place and it has the wow factor of like the sand and the surf and the like just relaxation and calming. But this one doesn't have so much of like a tropical feel as it does just like Polynesian
Ooh,
and
yes. I love that.
historical
Yeah.
and like just cultural. Do a really good job with that. And in speaking with staff when we were there, the Disney Aulani has a full-time employee on staff who is just I forget what they call it, but basically their entire job is to make sure the Polynesian culture stays in every aspect of the experience at
I like
Disney.
that. That's
And
cool.
so I do remember what my mother-in-law had some hesitations because she's very outdoorsy, loves Hawaii, but she was very hesitant to like want to go to the Disney resort because she was worried that we would get there and lose the amazing aspects of Hawaii and the culture of Hawaii and get lost in the kitschy Disney stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's definitely Disney. There's little touches of Disney everywhere, but I think that the culture of Hawaii comes through much more strongly than Disney, which is great because you can have kind of that Disney fun, but not get lost in like the overwhelming sense of Disney that Disney World feels like it is.
Yeah, no, that's great to hear. I love hearing all of that. So you get into this very Hawaiian lobby, very Polynesian, check in. How did you guys do rooms since you had 5 people?
So when we travel with my mother-in-law and we travel with her a decent amount, we get like a 2-bedroom suite where
Okay,
we
fun.
can. So we had a 2-bedroom suite with like a kitchen living room area. And our room has a king bed. She shares a room with the kids with a room with 2 beds, and then the living room had a pull-out couch, and so my kids actually ended up wanting to sleep on that, so they would
Mhm.
rotate nights. One of them would sleep with my mother-in-law, and one of them would sleep on the pull-out. But
Perfect.
that it's obviously more expensive to do it that way, but it is nice to have a kitchen, and so we actually got Instacart food delivered to our hotel on the first day. So
Smart.
we only ate breakfast in our room. So we had
Perfect.
yogurt and fruit and milk and bagels, and that was our breakfast every day, which ended up being good because we'll get into the food later, and that was better to eat.
Yeah, well, and it's nice with kids too. Like if I'm on a vacation with just my husband Joe, it's like let's lounge and then go get a leisurely breakfast and like a mimosa.
Mhm.
But with kids, it's like you don't want to spend $35 on a breakfast buffet when they're just gonna eat Fruit Loops.
Mhm.
And also you don't want to be like scrounging around trying to find something. Like they just need to have something in the morning. So I think that's great that you guys had that. The two
Yeah, and
bedroom suite.
there's a sense of get up and go and wanting to go to the beach and go to the pool and go do all the activities, and so it's nice to not have to sit at a table for an hour when you've got the kids too. Just like get up, feed, go, move on.
Exactly. And that two-bedroom suite, did you book that through Aulani or was that through that like DVC side, the vacation club side that you like rented from an owner?
So it's through Aulani, but we did use a Disney travel planner for
Yeah.
this trip.
Love a Disney Channel
So,
travel planner. Do you want to
yeah.
shout yours out?
Yes. Her name is Jennifer, and Jennifer Hartman is her name.
Okay.
She used to be JK Mouse Travel, but I think she just rebranded to JK Travel. So,
Well, we'll link her in the show notes. We'll
okay.
find her. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm using one right now as well for a different trip coming up. And it is like all this stuff with Disney changes so quickly and they know all the ins and outs. And it's like they're free to use. Just use them. They live and breathe Disney.
I know. It's great. It's so great. And then if you have issues, they can help you. They can help you book stuff. So there are not everything books up the way Disney World does, but there are things that you have to be on for reservations and stuff, and you can all be on there together trying to make reservations. So they were very helpful with that too.
Okay. So let's talk about the grounds a little bit before we get into specific things that you guys did. So pools and what options are there, like a slide, lazy river, that kind of stuff. What are on the grounds?
There is so much for the kids to do there. There are 2 massive pools, so you can see, out kind of closer towards the ocean. That's one pool. We've got another pool a little bit closer. So there's 2 massive, massive pools, 3 very large hot tubs. And when I say very large, I mean like 20 to 30 people can fit in a hot tub, kind of hot tub. So
Ooh,
there are
fun.
3 of those. One of them was kind of like in this cove. So somebody we had met called it the Mermaid Cove hot tub, and that was what we called it the whole time. I don't know why, but
Were they actually hot? Because I find at resorts like this, the hot tubs are never actually hot.
they were not like they were probably not over 100 degrees. They were probably at like 98 to
Yeah.
100. So
Okay.
they were really warm, but also we went in June. Like I don't really want to be in a 104-degree hot
Right.
tub. So it was pretty warm, but not maybe very warm, maybe not hot. So yes, you're probably right.
Okay.
A lazy river. There was a lazy river, which was fun. And then 2 slides. So the mountain that you see in the middle
So just
there,
for people that are listening, I pulled up a photo of Aulani and it's basically like the resort in the background and then almost like a volcano looking
Mhm.
mountainous structure in the middle of all the pools and the lazy river that I think you're about to say the slides are on.
That's where the slides are. So you go up the back of from this vantage point, you go up the back of the mountain volcano there, and there's 2 slides that slide down into the pools. So yeah, super fun. There's that is like what there is for water features. Um, there's also, we can talk about this now or later, there's something that they call the Rainbow Reef, and there is a separate pool for snorkeling,
Yeah,
for
let's talk
beginner
about that
snorkeling.
now. I'll bring up a different picture because I know you
Okay.
guys liked this.
So those are my kids snorkeling in the snorkeling pool in Rainbow Reef. So this particular activity is not included. You do have to pay separate for that. So we brought our own snorkels, but you can pay, let me see, I wrote it down, $30 a day for an adult to go in the pool or $25 per kid, which is steep. Or you can pay $50 for an adult and $40 for a kid to be able to go at any point your entire stay. So that
Okay.
was what we did. And then we ended up being able to go a couple times. So the pool is very cold. because
I was going to
there's
ask you about that because Kinsley, I asked her about snorkeling. She's like, it was fun, but very cold. I was
very
like,
cold.
okay, got it.
Yes. So it's a saltwater pool, but they keep it very cold because there is live coral and live fish in the pool. So they're trying to keep it maybe as close to real seawater as possible. And maybe that's, I mean, the optimal temperature for coral. I don't know, but it was cold. So the thing that I loved about it was I did go out there with them, but I did not enjoy the cold. So, Kelsey, I think you have a video.
Yes.
If you go around the side of the pool, there's a little cove with a cave and there's a viewing window. So the window is half underwater, half above water. So you could just stand there and watch your kids snorkel and not have to get in yourself.
Perfect.
So if we want to show that video
Yeah,
really quick,
let's
it's
pull up
just
the
me
video
walking
real
up to,
quick.
yeah, a good
And
vantage
so
point.
people can see what we're talking about. Oh, this is cool.
So
Okay.
that's just a little visual to be able to see exactly what that looked like. But again,
Kind of like
really
an
cool.
underground cove or cave that
Yeah.
it has the like aquarium, like you're at an aquarium and you can
Uh-huh.
watch the kids snorkel. So um was there quite a bit to see? Like, and did they do it? How many times did they do it?
Brady probably did it only twice. Kinsley did it maybe 4 times, but it wasn't like they were in there for 30 minutes snorkeling. They literally went for probably 5 minutes. I wouldn't say there's a lot to see. It's just more, I think the whole idea around it is to introduce snorkeling to kids in particular, but to anybody, to introduce snorkeling to them because it's a very controlled environment. The water is not moving. You're not dealing with waves. You're not dealing with fish or, dangerous
Right.
sharks or, people that are scared of that kind of stuff.
Or
So,
the waves that get in your mouth. I feel like one of the hardest parts with snorkeling is like dealing with the waves and the salt water up your nose
yeah,
and everything. So you kind of don't have to deal with that.
yeah. So that was fun. Just a fun little thing that they do.
Okay, let's talk about the beach a little bit because I know that Hawaii can have very big waves and the beaches can be a little challenging. But I have heard that Aulani, the way it's in a little bit of a cove or a bay, has much calmer water. So is that your experience?
Absolutely. So the North Shore is on this island, is on Oahu, but it's on the like opposite side of this island. That's like where they have surfing competitions and stuff. But at the Aulani, like you said, there's multiple coves right there where that hotel is. There's a Marriott next door. There's a Four Seasons on the other side. This is a picture my husband took of our cove. So you can kind of see, we've got a picture pulled up here of the cove, and you can kind of see some of the rocks out further in the water. The cove is almost circular shaped, and I mean, I think this is how I think the rocks kind of break some of
Hmm.
the waves coming in.
Yeah.
So by the time the water actually gets up to the shore, it's basically lapping in there like a lake or something. And so it was very calm. But it was enough that you could get a boogie board and like smaller kids, like my daughter both my kids had a great time boogie boarding, but my daughter wasn't overwhelmed by the waves or anything. So the water was really calm, really clear, and perfect for this age of kids. So it is the first time in all of our tropical vacations, the first time my husband and I have ever just sat in our beach chairs while my kids were in the water. That's how calm it was.
Nice.
Um, so it truly was a relaxing vacation for my husband and I, because actually, the pools too, they had lifeguards everywhere, and the deepest water on property was 3.5 feet deep. And so it was the first time we said, you know what, go swim. There's lifeguards. Check in from time to time. We'll be here.
I
And
love that
it's a
for you guys.
different level of vacationing, that's for sure. But
It is.
yeah, for the beach, they do have free life jackets. They have free boogie boards and they have free sand toys. So you just you give them your room number, or I think maybe your room key or something. And then they check all this stuff out to you, and you just have to return it in order to get your stuff back. But they had a bag of several different toys, sand digging toys and stuff.
That's
My
nice.
son loves to dig and
Oh,
build. And so he was out at the beach all day, every day. He loved it. And it was great because I didn't have to pack it.
yes, that's great that they have that right there.
Yeah.
And then is there at the pool or the beach like service? Like, is there someone coming around if you want like a drink or food, or are you going up to a counter for that?
So there is a oceanside shack where you can order stuff. There is beachside service, servers, but it was very, very slow. Most of the time looking around, you would not see a server. And so we did order from a server a couple times, but most of the time we found it to be much faster just to get up and order what we wanted. But you could order food and get it delivered down to the beach, so you could eat down there too.
Okay, awesome. Before we go into some specific activities and excursions you guys did, just share what a typical day from sunup to sundown at this resort was like for your group.
So for our group, we would wake up, and because the time zone is so much further from central time where we are, we always woke up really early. So we got a good start before a lot of the resort was even up and moving much. My husband and I would usually check in with work for a little bit because had started and our family hadn't really gotten moving much. So we would do that and eat breakfast in our room with this food we got delivered. And then we'd usually head down to the pool. You cannot get into the pool until 8 a.m. And so they will not let you in the water. And I think it's probably related to the lifeguards that they have. So if we ever got down to the pool before that, which did happen a couple of days, you can go to the beach and you can spend time down at the beach. And so we would end up just either at the pool or at the beach all day long, usually stop at some point for lunch. You could either get food delivered to your chair, or you could go pick it up and bring it to your chair. Or there were a couple of there was one dine-in restaurant called Off the Hook. And then there were a couple like grab and go places that you could eat, but we really would just be at the pool like all day. With the exception, I think every day we had one excursion or one activity or one thing to do that we would take an hour or two to do. And then we would go upstairs and get ready for dinner and come back down
Nice.
for dinner. Just
Love it.
very relaxed, very, non-committal. One of the activities down at the pool that we were signed up for a couple of days was the kids club. And we can talk about that when we talk
Okay,
into more
yeah.
specifics, but they do have a kids club there.
Okay, perfect. Was there anything that you ordered food or drink wise, like poolside or even from one of the poolside spots that was memorable to you that you ate or drank?
Probably not. Maybe not for the reasons that you are asking.
It's okay if it's not memorable in a good way. Tell everybody.
So I did not find the food to be overly exceptional on property. There was an exception. We had one good meal towards the end of our trip, but there was one memorable. It was the first meal we had. We were at the poolside restaurant, and my kids got a kids meal, and my son had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which was like an Uncrustable,
Mhm.
a bag of chips, and a box of juice, and it was $15.
Mm-mm.
And you kind of go like,
Disney plus
"Mm,
Hawaii. It's like, ouch.
I know. So anyway, that was memorable. The food that we had, to be honest, was better offsite.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into some of the excursions and activities. So maybe we start on resort. I know that there were some things you did on resort, like their version of Bippity Boppity Boutique and some other things, and then we can talk about anything you did off resort.
Okay. So we'll start with the kids spa. So anybody that's familiar with Disney World has heard of Bippity Boppity Boutique, where your kid can go and get transformed into a princess or a prince. And so they have something similar to that in the Aulani, but it's called Painted Sky. So the Painted Sky, you go and you can pick out your outfit. They go and they do your hair. They put on your makeup, but it has, obviously, this is my daughter. For those who can't see, this is my daughter after her appointment.
This
She
is
got
so
her
cute, by the way. Oh my
well, she's
gosh.
like Little Miss Sass, but the outfit she picked was a Moana swimsuit. So it is adorable.
Which, you guys who aren't watching this, she has worn this to my house, to my pool, because I'm actually friends with her. It is such a well-made pool swimsuit because it almost looks like a costume.
Mhm.
It's like a Moana. There's ruffles and there's like it almost looks like there's the, straw grass skirt, but it's all one swimsuit, which is so cool.
And the
then she has her
material is
hair
like
braided
a
cool.
good material too. Like, I don't
Yeah.
feel like it's chintzy.
Yeah. And then her hair is braided so cool and there's flowers in her hair. So this is I didn't know Aulani had this.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know Bippity Boppity. It's fine. My daughter did it once. We're going back in a bit. kids still don't know it. But now that we're going on YouTube, I don't know. The secrets are all going to be out. But I feel like that's a one and done for me. It was fun. It was magical. But my daughter doesn't need like a big princess dress and whatever anymore. But this is a very different type of experience. I feel like I could see her doing this.
Yes. So they did have the big princess dresses, which she was going back and forth between a Moana dress and this swimsuit. But it was great because we're like, okay, so now we can go swimming with it. And she's got a necklace on too. It sings one of the Moana songs that you open it and it's, like a locket or something. But
Yeah.
we bought shoes and brought them with us to match her outfit. So those are shoes we
And
brought with
they
us. And I
match.
think they're so cute.
They are. I would wear those shoes.
I know, me too. They're super cute. But
So
she
did they
just has
have the like where you could actually like become Belle, just like Bippity Boppity Cheek with a yellow dress and the bun and the whole thing?
Yes. So they
Okay.
had a wide variety of hair choices that you could choose from. And it has a Hawaiian bent. It's bent to like Hawaii, but there was a girl that was getting her hair done when we were in there that got turned into Cinderella. So
Okay.
it doesn't have to be Moana or like one of the more Polynesian culture movies. You could do I don't know how many there were, but there were several. They also, for the record, they had boy swimsuits and boy outfits also. So it's not just for girls. Granted, the hairstyle is one of the central things that you do there, but you can do boys there too.
Okay, cool. Good to know. That's definitely a fun little option.
Yeah, super fun. So Painted Sky is the name of that boutique. And it's a small part of a larger spa. So it's next to the spa, it's not in the spa. But my husband and I did do massages at the spa. And let me tell you, we like our massages. We like luxury spas. And this is probably one of the best spas I have ever been to. It is amazing.
That is so great to hear.
Yes. Okay. So Kelsey just pulled up one of my pictures. Let me talk you through kind of the journey of our spa experience. So when you check in at the front desk, they welcome you. Can I do anything for you? This is what we have for you scheduled today. And then they brought out this tray, a large tray of rocks. And so you pick a rock and you turn it over and there's a word inscribed on the bottom of it. And
Okay.
so I picked the word strength.
Wait, do you see the word or do you
No.
just pick a rock and then it's underneath?
So if I remember correctly, I think it had the Hawaiian word up top, but I don't know Hawaiian.
Yeah.
So you don't know what you're picking.
Okay. You don't know what you're picking.
So the Hawaiian word on one side and what it means like in English on the other side. So I picked the word strength, not knowing that's what I was picking. And my husband picked the word balance.
Oh my gosh, I'm loving this.
Yes. So then they take you down this long hallway that has like a water wall, just like dripping water down the side. So immediately you're kind of like into relaxation mode.
Here, I'm going to pull up the water wall real quick because I have that too.
Yes, that's the water wall just running down the side. I mean, anything that has running water, immediately like my tension all starts to melt away. But back to the other picture. So you get to this is kind of at the end of that hallway and the entrance to, boys on the left, girls on the right. Like this is kind of like the meeting, a central point before you branch off. And all of those rocks at the bottom, well, actually not all of them. If you look close, there's brown rocks in there. Those are the rocks that have the name on them. And so you kind of like, this is a little foo-foo, like maybe everybody's probably not into this, but you're supposed to like close your eyes and hold your rock and think about your word and bring this word into your journey on
I
the
am
spa.
so into this.
It was so great. And then you throw this rock into this little pool and, at some point they probably go in and collect them back out or whatever. But it just started the spa experience on like the exact right note. It was wonderful.
I love that. I love a woo-woo moment. I love an intention or a manifestation. So I might need, like, I can skip a spa sometimes just because they're so expensive on vacation. But I love a spa, and knowing this would make me want to go there for this, just to start it this way and see what word I got. I love it.
I mean, everyone should go to this spa. This spa was incredible. So at that point, we go our separate ways into the dressing rooms and, they've got the sauna in there and the steam room in there, just like a lot of the luxury spas have. You put on your bathrobe. They've got all the fun foo-foo things to put in your face or your body or whatever. And then you go back and join everyone else, I guess, in the relaxation room. And they have these wonderful little gauzy curtains in between each lounge chair. And they've got more water features. So you just relaxing in there. They've got drinks and they've got some food. And so you can hang out in there or you can hang out in their outdoor area. So in their outdoor area, they had 2 different level degree, like hotness of hot tubs. One that was like warm and one that was hot. They had outdoor rain shower. They had a cold plunge, and then they had another big hot tub with jets and stuff in it.
And are you back together with male and female at this point? Okay, because sometimes it's hard when the hangout area isn't like co-ed, and then you're like, oh, I kind of want to hang out with my like person.
Yes. So the locker room, the steam room, and the sauna are all kind of like the women's room, and then the men's room presumably has the same thing.
Okay.
But all this other stuff is back into shared space. So all of this stuff, I forgot to mention, I think I sent you a video of me walking.
I'm gonna do some videos.
They talk about reflexology in your feet. Oh, this is the outdoor area. So that's those 2 are the 2 different degree hot tubs.
Okay.
And then further back was some of the other stuff. But there is one where they have this sidewalk of rocks. I mean, smooth rocks sticking up. And this is it. We're seeing the video of me walking on this. It's kind of uncomfortable. It also feels kind of amazing. But it's the idea and the science behind it is the reflexology points in your feet. Like I think you have a lot in your ears and you have a lot in your feet. And so walking on this is supposed to, I don't even know exactly what it all does, but it feels great and you feel like good about doing it. And so they have all these Asian influence type of healing and luxury spa experiences, which was awesome. And the overall, the massage was amazing. The overall experience of the spa, it's in a separate part of the hotel. On the opposite side of the hotel is the pools and all of that, restaurants and all that. So it's super quiet. There's lots of trees around, so it feels really secluded. And it just it was like a retreat all in and of itself. And the thing that made it really extra different and special was that you have the crazy, it's not even that crazy. Like it's not Disney World crazy, but you've got this Disney pool experience with all
family
the kids
friendly,
and fun and all that. And then this is a complete 180 different feeling. And it just was a nice little escape from the relaxation on the other side. Just a different kind,
just more relaxed. But it sounds like it's like a 10 out of 10 because spas can be hit or miss. So this is good to know.
Yes. So one last thing. So when you're leaving and you check out, they say, remind me what your word was. Because when we drop the rock and they say, don't forget what your word is. And so you say, okay, I had strength. And they give you these little bath salts that are supposed to represent strength. So this is the Hawaiian word for strength. For those that are just listening, Aikaika, there's a little sample bag of bath salts that they give you that represent whatever word you picked. And so the scents and whatnot are supposed to help bring out that word. So
oh my gosh,
we've got
I
strength
love it.
And balance.
They bring it full circle. You guys need to use them.
I know. I was getting ready for the podcast. I'm like, oh, I think I still have those.
Amazing. Okay. Well, spa sounds incredible. Loved all of that. Were there any characters that you met or saw along the way?
So that is part of the Disney experience. So around the pool, there is an Aulani app. I don't think it's that great. I think they could do a lot more with it, but they do have a schedule of all the activities throughout the day. And they will tell you, okay, Moana will be here at this time. Minnie Mouse will be here at this time. And they have all these characters listed out that you can go and meet. And so we're a little bit beyond that phase. But my daughter did get excited to just run into Minnie Mouse one time and Moana another time. And the other thing that's nice about it is people aren't coming to the Aulani for the character experience. And so I feel like when you're at Disney World, you might have to wait an hour to meet Cinderella. When the character first comes out, there is a line forming, waiting for them to come, but that line kind of passes through quickly, and the character is supposed to be there for a designated amount of time, and so you can just come kind of on the back end, and there's no line. You can take your picture, you can meet your character. So while we're on that, there is also a character breakfast that you can book as a separate experience. But again, we're a little bit beyond that phase. So we did that in Disney World several years ago and didn't do it this time,
But
but
good to know that that's an option. So
it's
there's
an option.
characters around, there's a character breakfast. And then let's talk kids club real quick. So is this a kids club that you can drop your kids off? Do you visit with them and let them do a craft? Like what is going on with the kids club?
So the kids club, it's called Auntie's Beach House is what they call it. And they have two different types of experiences. So one, there's a 90-minute experience that you have there. It's like 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, and 2 or something. And it's just like a drop off thing where you just drop them off for 90 minutes. And I didn't get to go back there, but my kids said there was like arts and crafts, and then table games. They're playing a Disney movie back there, and then just like some beanbag kind of loungy hangout area. They thought it was fine. They weren't excited. It's just basically a hangout area. There's no organized activity. You have to book the day it opens, the morning it opens, if
Oh,
you want a
wow.
spot, if you want one of those spots, because they are free spots. And so they go really quickly. I
Okay,
want to
good
say
to know.
they open, it's either 30 or 60 days in advance. I want to say it's 30 days in advance.
Oh, you need to book the day it opens 30 days in advance to get a spot. And you're kind of like, I don't even know which
Yeah,
day my kid would want to go. I feel
right.
like our kids are similar where, they're getting a little bit older. You don't want to force them. It's not like when they're little, you're like, you're going to the little childcare so I can get a break. But
Right.
it's hard to know if they're even going to want to go or if they're like, wait, I'm having so much fun on the water slide.
Right. Well, so we had it booked three times. They only
Okay.
went once. We canceled the other two.
So there's no penalty in canceling.
Not the free ones.
Okay.
There is a second option that is a paid option, and that one will be available. I don't know if it'll still be available when you show up, but it will be available beyond the 30-day window or whatever amount of window that is. But they range in like 30, I looked up $30 to $64. It could be 2 hours, it could be 3 hours. But there's one that's called the Galactic Games, and from what I understand, it's kind of like relay races and running and like Olympic kind of themed games, but all with a Lilo and Stitch flair. And then there was another one called Surf's Up. To be honest, I don't know exactly what they did because we didn't do those. My kids are really
Yeah.
wishy-washy on those sort of things, and neither one of them sounded like something my daughter would really like. And if she's not going to go, I'm not going to send one of my kiddos. So
Yeah. So it's more of a themed, like organized activities type of kids club
yes.
experience. Okay.
And that
Cool.
one, they said if you cancel if you cancel less than 24 hours in advance, that there would be a penalty for that. But I didn't have an experience with that. One thing I do want to note here is we had Disney bands from Disney World that do work at Disney Aulani. You can use them. You can put your credit card on them and charge stuff to your room. You can use them as your room key. That is what I did the whole time.
Nice.
At the kids club, they have to have a Disney band to get in and out. That is like their safety check-in, check-out system. And for whatever reason, the Disney bands that we had did not work there. So we had to buy Disney bands at the Aulani to be able to use the kids club. They had 5 options. 2 of them, if you bought them, you could give them back at
I
the
was
end
going
and
to
they would
say,
reimburse you. But I
hopefully,
mean, it
because
was like
that's
$80. It was a
what?
lot. And so, I mean, we got reimbursed. So it was no big deal. But also they did have bands available to buy if you didn't already have the bands or you forgot the bands and you wanted the option for the charging to your room, adding a credit card, using a key. You can absolutely get by without a Disney band at the resort. I did not see very many Disney bands on people. We just happened to have them, and I read that you could use them, and so we brought ours. But you
Okay.
don't have to have them. But
Yeah, I was going to hope you got reimbursed because that's how the Disney cruises as well. You can bring bands or they just give them. And
mhm.
then if you took them, you're going to get charged. But I don't even know if they actually charge you. But I know that once you give them back, you're not getting charged.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's at
Okay.
least worth noting.
Yes, good to know. And then what about, are there any evening activities? I know Disney resorts do like movies on the lawn and fireside things pretty well. So is there anything going on in the evenings at the resort?
Yeah, so they have fireside chats where they tell like Hawaiian storytelling, like cultural stories from Hawaiian history and culture around the fire.
Okay.
The one night we like had kind of penciled in that we were going to go, we went and we're like, where is everybody? And we looked it up and it was the one night that they didn't have it. So we never got to do that. But
Okay.
I think it was, in talking to other guests, it was only like 15 minutes. It was not very long at all. They did one night, they cleared out one side of the pool and came and did not impromptu, but like just a show on the side of the pool. They had hula dancers and some of the characters came out and music
Cute.
and like, so that was kind of fun to listen to and watch as well. And then we can get into this one a little later too, but the luau happens
I
in
would
the
love to
evening.
talk about the luau because that is on Aulani property, right? So you can
It
get
is.
that whole Hawaiian luau experience without having to leave your resort.
Yes. So the luau, they have a luau most nights. I want to say maybe 5 nights out of the week. Our room looked over the luau side. And
Oh,
so
wow.
we actually got a few, we like didn't want to
You're like,
spoil
we
it. 'Cause
saw it every night.
we went on our very last night there because we thought that would be kind of like a fun finale for our trip. But we did get like little glimpses and hear the music and stuff because we had a balcony on that side. It's pricey, but it was well worth it, I thought. So we had heard that people start lining up to get in really early because you can buy preferred seating, which means you get a seat within, the front area. But we booked pretty far in advance and it was already sold out.
Oh, wow.
The preferred seating was already sold out. So we ended up buying general seating. And so my mother-in-law actually went and like stood in the line an hour before doors opened and she was not at the front.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
How bad are the back seats?
They're really, we were talking about that. There really isn't a bad seat.
Okay.
So obviously you're further away from the stage and most of what's happening is up on the stage, but there is a central walkway down the middle there is some action on the walkway too. And so some of the stuff we ended up getting pretty good seats because my wonderful mother-in-law went an hour in advance, but there was some stuff on the walkway that we couldn't really see.
Okay. So you show up, what's happening when you first get to the luau?
Okay, so when you get to the luau, every adult gets a kukui nut lei. So a kukui nut, you probably have seen them before, but they're like, I don't know, a little bigger than a quarter, maybe. And it wasn't a flower lei. That's what I think of when I think of a lei, but I think the kukui nut is maybe, if you think of like what, like Hawaiian warriors.
It's like a brown.
Yep.
Yeah, I can picture
You got it.
Yeah.
Yep. So every adult got one of those, and then every kid got a Maui hook necklace, which is kind of
funny. I feel like I would want a flower lei.
So me too. So I was like, what? Where's my lei? So when you get there, you take pictures with some of the dancers right from the get-go with your leis on. And then they have all of these open activities that you can do while you're waiting for everybody to come in. So we were assigned like a person when we first came in, and she took us to our seats and say, okay, well, these are going to be your seats. Like that's why people line up so early, because the earlier you are at the table, they load from the front to the back. And so we got our seats and then we went to go check out the activities. So there were several different stations. There was one where you could get a tribal tattoo. It's just basically like an ink print on your arm, but that was kind of fun to have a tribal tattoo. And they had ukulele lessons at one of the stations. You made a flower lei bracelet. Okay. So you could either just take one that they had already made and they could put it on, or there was like this way you could make your own flower lei really quickly with like a plastic needle or something and thread something through flowers. And so that was fun. And then there was, I feel like I'm missing a station, but there's one where you made poi, and it is a traditional Hawaiian paste that is a food that is made from taro root.
Okay.
It was gross.
Okay. What's it look like? Is it like gray?
It was gray.
Okay.
It was gray, but you're grinding. They give you you don't actually eat the part that you are grinding because, people are cycling in and out of that, but they give you essentially like a pestle and mortar. Is that what I'm thinking?
Yeah, mortar and pestle.
Yeah, they you grind it and then it turns gray, and then they would be like, okay, great job, and then give you this paste. And it was not good. It had zero flavor, but I think apparently it's got all kinds of health benefits and it's full of protein and it's all, all the good things, but it doesn't taste very good.
Good to know.
So then you kind of move on and you get a drink. It is open bar for adults, obviously for adults. And then the kids, it's like open non-alcoholic bar for kids. So my kids had many, many Shirley Temples that night. The food was excellent. It is the only time We had sushi one other night that was good, but this was by far the best food we had on property.
That's good to know considering how expensive these are.
Like everything we ate, a lot of it had a very local cuisine flavor or flair. There was so there was a food table of a bunch of different foods. There was a carving table that did have they cook they cook the pig in the ground, and so there's a lot of it's pork heavy. And then they had this big dessert table, which I think I sent you a picture of one of the desserts with a Moana on it. So
So cute.
it's really cute. So again, the beauty of it is like it's very luau, it's very Hawaiian, but there's a touch of Disney here, a touch of Disney there. So there's a little brownie with a Moana on it.
Yeah. Is
And
that Moana thing edible?
yes.
Yeah, like a little Moana chocolate is on top of a little brownie bite. It's cute.
Yeah. Yeah. So just like, again, not in your face, but it's there. So that was the food, all really good. It's a buffet style, so you can go up for however many rounds you want. And then after everyone is done eating, then the show starts. And the show is not a traditional luau. It's kind of tells the history of the islands, and it tells the folklore of like Maui, the demigod, and kind of how traditional Hawaiians believed it came to be, and how the islands came out of the ocean, and the warriors. And it just like there was a lot of fire dancing, there was a lot of yelping, there was a lot of like all of it. So I think I sent a short video of
Okay, yeah.
fire dancing, which with
Here we go. Fun.
so
That
fun.
was exciting.
Yeah, so it's super fun. Then at the very end, Minnie Mouse comes out,
Oh,
and you have
yay.
these narrators throughout the whole luau, and these narrators say it is the only place in the world that you can luau with Minnie Mouse. So if that's on your bucket list, you gotta go to Hawaii.
Cute. So at the end, when Minnie comes out, is everybody like up and dancing and hula-ing with Minnie?
Yes, they are. They come up, they tell you like what to do and stand up. I've got videos of my kids hula-ing at the end, so it's super
Sounds
fun.
like a magical Disney-fied luau experience.
Yes. So to wrap up kind of what the end of the luau. So when it's over, they have some of the dancers come and stand at the back. And so they're all sweaty and like have been doing the luau. And so they stand around so you can take pictures with them. And then it's like a mad dash to the elevators. So little tip. Elevator lines get very long, and can take multiple rounds of like even just like after a pool day. If you go at like right before dinner, it can take you a long time to get up. So we went like straight away to the elevator because Kinsley was done. Like she was so tired. But just something to know, there are stairs. And so I mean, if you want a high floor, I get it. There's better views up high, but also just something to keep in mind that if you're not too far up, if you're on 2, 3, 4, you can take the stairs instead of waiting for the elevator. We were on the 8th floor, so I never went up. My kids went up with my husband once, but we came down a couple times. The elevator can take a long time.
Okay, good
Little
to know.
tip.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else at the resort activity-wise that you guys enjoyed?
Yes. So the one other activity that I thought was really fun and well worth doing is called the Menahune Adventure Scavenger Hunt. So to do it, you go to they have an activity center, and you get an iPad, and the iPad has a little interactive video with Auntie on it. And she is kind of walking you through some of the history, some of the culture, just like I mentioned, it's very heavy on the Hawaiian Polynesian culture, which is great. I love it. But you have video clues, and it takes you on this scavenger hunt all over the property. So it's actually a great thing to do on the early side because you can start to get a sense of the property. We went a little bit later, but if you want to feel like you want a lay of the land, it's a good thing to do on the front end because it teaches you kind of where things are. But you get a clue, and then you have to go to the next place to solve the clue. And it's great because it's super interactive. This is the Disney that's coming out. So, but it's not like it's kitschy Disney. So, for example, when you solve one of the clues, there's a pond and islands come up out of the water. Like, you cause the islands to come up,
On
and
the
it's
iPad or in front of you?
in front of you. So
Oh,
you're
cool.
doing things like the iPad is interactive, but you're doing stuff physically in front of you at the resort.
Cool.
And so that's it. One example, the islands come up. This is like teaching you how the history of the islands are and what, ancient folklore tells you how they were formed. There's another place where you start a fire up like in a volcano and you make the volcano erupt.
That's cool.
There's this magical rock that like lights up and the rocks are moving. I mean, it's well worth it, especially if you have a kiddo that's like, okay, I'm done with the pool. I don't want to do this anymore. It's a great alternative for something else to do.
That's awesome.
Things I did not do, but other things they have an activity center where you can sign up for different things. And one of the things I did want to do that we didn't actually end up doing was make Mickey or Minnie Mouse ears. So they have these little headbands and you can go and decorate them with leaves and flowers and different things. They have light up ones. So a lot of people will make those and then take them to the luau because it's dark. So, I mean, and then the activity center had several other things you could do too, but just
Cool.
fun stuff.
Sounds like there's not a lack of activities, which is
No,
great.
definitely not.
Okay, and then I believe you guys left the resort for one of your excursions to go check out Pearl Harbor. So I'm curious to hear about this because we did mention this on a previous Hawaii episode, and it kind of sounds like a journey.
That was something I knew I wanted to go to. I've always wanted to go to Pearl Harbor. This was like, Mom is going. You all can fall in line, you
Yeah.
know? And so I think it was like 8 weeks out, I'm thinking like, it's like this huge attraction. Everybody can get tickets. But by 8 weeks out, all of the times that we would have wanted to go were sold out. And I was devastated. I was so upset.
You're like, I'm planning 8 weeks in advance. What's going on?
Right. So that is like recreation.gov is where you get like national park passes and stuff like that. And they were sold out on that website. I think they had like one time that just did not work for us, but there was like no availability. But you can book private tours. And so there are companies, third-party companies that will go and they will buy tickets in advance and then they will build their own tour around it. And so that is what we ended up doing. So we got a time that we wanted. So I don't know the name of the company, but this company came and picked us up from the Aulani. And then the Marriott is next door. So they picked up us from the Aulani and then went next door and picked up the Marriott and then took a group of us to Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
And so it was kind of nice because we had a driver. It was probably 15 to 20 minutes away. So you could get an Uber over there, you can rent a car, but this worked out great. So you go and I think they picked us up at 9:30 from the resort. We got there and there's a couple things you can do. There's a walkthrough museum of kind of like what was happening that day and some personal experiences and the strategy of the war and how it was evolving and what kind of led to the bombing of Pearl Harbor. There was along the water's edge, there was a sidewalk with placards kind of posted along the edge of walking through the day and talking about how many men were killed on each individual ship. And it shows you like these are the names of the people that died on the USS Oklahoma. These are the names of the people, these are the civilians that died. And then it also came with, you can buy this separate. You don't have to buy this, but you get tickets to get on a boat to go across the harbor to go to the USS Arizona Memorial. And so for those of you that haven't been there or maybe don't know a ton about Pearl Harbor, USS Arizona still sits where it sank. It is like however many feet underwater. They say there's like 800 or 900 men buried there. Like they
Whoa.
never were
Recovered.
exhumed from there. There is oil that is still to this day leaking and bubbling up to the surface. So you can see some of the oil coming up. They have buoys at each end of where the tip, I don't know all the proper terminology, but the tip of where the boat is. So you can see just how big it was. You can kind of see through the water to see some of the smokestacks.
Wow.
But it's a very moving exhibit. There's a huge wall of every name of every soldier that died there. And then there's kind of this separate little wall that says, and these are the men that survived the attack, but have since died and chose to be buried here with their shipmates.
Wow.
And there's several names on that one too. And then we went back and then there's like a 25-minute documentary kind of talking about the war and Pearl Harbor and all of that. I thought my kids might struggle in terms of attention span, but especially for my 10-year-old, it was like the perfect time to introduce him to it because he's old enough to understand that there are bad people in this world and war happens. Um, and he is at an age where I want to start introducing him to some of the not bright, shiny things of the world,
Yeah.
but not old enough that I want to get into the gruesome, gory, bad things that happen out there. And so it's just like kind of a good introduction into war, the topic of war. And his mind was blown. I mean, blown. And he was just sucking up the information. We were leaving and he was like, Mom, I'm so mad at the Japanese.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, we're friends with them now.
Yeah.
It was very moving for everyone. And even, my daughter who's 7, it wasn't quite as impactful for her, I don't think, but I think it's like one of those core memories, I think, for my son that he will remember the time that he went to Pearl Harbor. And just I think there was kind of a monumental shift in his view of the world, which, you want them to live in this bubble forever, but you do, as their parents, have to introduce them to some of the less savory parts of what can happen. And it just was a good introduction into that for him and for us. So that was the big one. That was the
And I
biggest.
feel like that's one of the benefits of traveling too, is that you can expose them to things like that, stories like that, history. And it's so much more impactful when you're actually there and you're
Yeah.
seeing the site and you're learning, watching that documentary and then going out and seeing it all with your own eyes. That's
Mhm.
way different than just watching a documentary at home. So I do think that's important to insert some of that stuff into travel where they're actually like learning a lot.
Yeah. It was really good. Though I will say we ended up getting dropped back off at the resort at 1:30, so we were there from basically 10 to 1 or something like that. It was not long enough. I wish I had had more time. Just
So if you had gotten those original tickets, do you think then you would just have free reign to be there as long as you wanted, but you were at the tour company's timing, so you had to
Mhm.
get on there?
Our ride was leaving. I
Yeah.
mean, the only thing that's timed about it is the time that you have, like, the boat ride is timed, like, you have to go at a certain time. But we would have bought that, and then otherwise you can just kinda roam the property. I think there's another museum that we did not even go into at all because we had to get back to the boat, and we were the last people on the bus too.
Yeah. Okay, so
But
there's a lot to do there.
yes, and again, just wanna remind everybody, there's, the national park stamps that you
Yeah,
can so
cute.
those are there too.
Before we move on to food, since we're still in activities, I do have a photo from you of a little boat tour. It looks like it's the boats that you can rent just off of the beach right there,
Mhm. So they have, these boat tours that are the, pontoon boats,
or
and
little
so
catamarans, right?
what's that?
They're like little catamarans.
Yes. Our yes, they're, I guess catamaran's probably better than pontoon, but they give you life vests. There was only one other family that was there, so we were on one side. You can see the white nets in the back. We were on one side. The other family's on the other side. They did once we got out there, they let the kids sit down in the ski part, which was kind of cool because they were like ultimately below water level, which is kind of fun for
Yeah.
them. But it's you can reach down and touch the water as you're moving. We did see some sea turtles when we were out there.
Oh, cool.
And the thing that was kind of fun is when they are going out from shore or when they're coming back in and like passing through that cove, they would blow a conch shell. And
Oh,
so you
wow.
could hear that very traditional sound and kind of fun to be part of it.
Yeah,
So
it feels like you're
that was
like
really fun.
Moana setting off to sea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk food because I know you have an opinion or two on the food on site, and then we'll talk about the food off site. So just give us a general overview of places you ate, what was memorable, whether that was good or bad.
Okay. So when we booked everything, we made a reservation every single night for dinner. And so we got there on a Monday and we left on a Saturday. By the time we got to Thursday, we were like, oh my goodness, like we are overscheduled. And so Thursday was the night that we were supposed to eat at Ama Ama, which is their nicest restaurant and it's the closest to the water. So, like, the whole restaurant has views of the water. And we did not end up eating there. Part of me feels like maybe that was a mistake because I feel like that would probably have been the best food on property. and we didn't get a chance to experience it. But we were like, we want to have more time at the pool. We want to just like not have somewhere to get up and go. So we didn't eat there. The makahiki is we ate there first. They have a prefix menu for dinner. Even the kids' meal is prefixed. And that's also where they do the character dining. I was not super impressed with the food there. To be honest, I don't really remember what I ate.
Mm-hmm.
But I just remember thinking like, wow, I just spent a lot of money and I'm not overly satisfied.
It's crazy that the second nicest restaurant is, you'd think the nicest restaurant is prefix at a Disney resort, but
Mhm.
even the second nicest restaurant is prefix. That's like a lot for a family with kids.
It is. It is. And you have to get the prefix.
Yeah.
There's no like a la carte
Okay.
options. The one night that we replaced our dinner when we were supposed to go to Ama Ama, the nice one, we ended up just walking into a sushi place, and that was our favorite food that we had the whole time.
Yeah, I'm going to share that picture because that's really cute.
Yeah, so this is another example of the little Disney touches. They put the wasabi in the shape of a Mickey Mouse head.
So cute. I want to
Super
eat
cute.
that right now.
I
That
know.
actually looks like good sushi. And look at those little wasabi Mickeys. I can't stand that. That's adorable.
This is the first time my son ever had sushi, and we have a video of him, and the whole time he's eating it, he's shaking his head like, "Oh, I don't like this. I don't like it." He's just shaking his head as he's chewing, and then he finishes, and he said, "That was good. Can I have another piece?"
Gotta go for it. Hey, if you're going to try it somewhere, try it with Disney.
Exactly. So now he wants to go back to Hawaii just for the sushi roll, and I'm like, "Well, I mean, we can go, but..."
You're like, we have sushi in Nashville as well.
Right, exactly.
So is this on property?
This is on property. It's
Okay.
right next to the Makahiki, which is kind of like tucked kind of back away from the pools, but up towards the lobby.
Okay.
But they had some fun cocktails there and sushi. And then outside of that, the rest of the restaurants are just like the grab and go, the poolside lunch. You know, they have a shaved ice place, and they have another where you can get the Mickey Mouse ice cream on a stick, that kind of stuff. But those were, to be honest, we had gotten food delivery for breakfast. I actually, if I went back, I might get stuff for lunch also, just because for the value, I just really didn't
Yeah.
love the food.
Okay. Great to know.
However, so our two favorite restaurants, our two favorite dinners were offsite. We
Okay.
had two offsite. So one of the nights we went next door to the Four Seasons, and there is, for anyone familiar or anyone local to Nashville, Bourbon Steak is a Michael Mina restaurant. So Michael Mina has a restaurant at the Four Seasons called Mina's Fish House.
Okay. Pause. This is one of my favorite restaurants in all of Nashville.
I know this about you.
I love this restaurant so much. If you're ever in Nashville and you have a special occasion to celebrate, this is on the top floor of the JW Marriott Nashville. It is swanky and cool feeling. You feel like you're in New York City. And instead of bread, they serve fries before dinner with different dipping sauces. The steaks are amazing. The sides are amazing. It is such a great spot for a special occasion dinner. So just a plug for Michael Mina. And then I didn't know that he has a restaurant down in Hawaii as well. Cool.
He does. So the area is Ko'olina. That's where, like, this whole area where the Marriott, the Aulani, the Four Seasons is in Ko'olina. So it's Mina's Fish House, and obviously their specialty is fish. I don't remember specifically what I ate there, but we all had fish. Shocker. But it just, like, we ate outdoors. We had kind of like a 2-couch with the table in the middle, like very comfortable, very vibey. And I sent a picture. Their signature cocktail is a Mai Tai in a Spam can.
I'm so confused about this.
To this day, I don't get it. But it was fun. I'm like, how do you have like this high-end restaurant serving out of a Spam can?
Is
That's
Spam?
That's their
Spam
signature.
isn't like Hawaiian, is it?
No, I don't think. That's a good question. Maybe it is. I don't know. But
I'm looking it up.
it was a delicious Mai Tai, regardless of what vessel it was served in. We still have that Spam can. Fun fact, that's my husband's swear jar. When he has bad words, he has to put money in it.
Amazing. Okay, fun fact. While Spam itself is not Hawaiian, it is deeply ingrained in Hawaiian culture and cuisine. Spam was introduced to Hawaii during World War II and became a staple due to its convenience and ability to be preserved. It's now a beloved food in Hawaii, often found in dishes like Spam musubi. So it is like
There you go. I
popular
learned
culturally,
something.
and that's why they probably serve their drink in that can. That is quite funny, though.
That
Love
is
it.
funny. I'm so glad that you just caught that because I guess that does make sense that it would be like that. But it was great. It was delicious drink, delicious food. Highly recommend. And then after we ate dinner that night, my mother-in-law took the kids back to the Aulani and like they all went to bed. And my husband and I had a date night at the bar at the Four Seasons, and it is vibey. It was like I just felt like I was in the right place. Like it was a great little date
You're
night.
like, these are my people.
Yes,
Here we are.
yes. Yes, they are. You know, that first class to me was like, "Oh, the Four Seasons." I
She's
have
back. She's back. I love it.
so
That
it's
sounds
great.
fun.
Super
We'd love
fun.
that too, I'm sure.
Yes, it was great. Though I will say, if I went back to that area of Hawaii, I would stay there. However, if I went
At
back to that
where?
area at the Four Seasons,
Okay.
but there is not enough there for kids to do. So do not go there if you have kids.
Okay.
Stay at the Disney next door if you're going to go there.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then the other restaurant we went to, they're across the street, so out the back side, the lobby side of the Aulani is like a teeny little town. I mean, town, I use that word very loosely.
Like a
there's
village?
there's a collection of stores and restaurants. And so the most well-known restaurant there is called Monkey Pod.
This literally comes up on every Hawaii episode. One is coming out on Monday, a Maui episode, which will already be out by the time people are listening to this. Every episode, Monkey Pod comes up. It's bananas.
Amazing. So,
okay, good, because this was a different Monkey Pods, though. This was on Maui. So this is, I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Okay, so I had read on a blog before we went that like you have to go to Monkey Pod. That's like you have to eat there if you're going to Hawaii. And so I like looking at the menu, and it's like wood-fired pizza and fish tacos, and you're kind of like, what's so special about this place? Like I don't need to go there. And it's a chain, but it was so good. It was probably, I feel like the restaurant, the Mina's Fish restaurant and Monkey Pod, they're in different ball fields, right? Like it's like comparing apples to oranges, but those two by far were our favorite meals. So I did have fish tacos there. My husband got a wood-fired pizza. It was delicious.
Fabulous.
It was everything we ate was so good. And they also had an amazing signature cocktail. So they also had a Mai Tai. It's called the Monkey Pod Mai Tai, but the top of it has a honey lily koi foam.
Wow.
So it's kind of this sweet foam that you have to get through or mix into your drink. And it kind of it's not like a traditional Mai Tai, but I kind of like a variation of something traditional. And so that was probably my favorite drink the whole week. It was really good.
Amazing. I'm so glad to hear that. On the other Aulani episode, he says they loved Monkey Pods as well. Highly recommend leaving the resort and going there to get food. And then on this Maui episode, again, this is a different one. I didn't even know this, but have you been to Maui?
Mm-hmm.
Have you been to Merriman's? That beautiful restaurant that overlooks like the water, and it's got like rocks and a beach.
Mm-mm.
Okay. There's a really like popular spot called Merriman's, and it's like fabulous, but it's very expensive. It's like a high-end, nice restaurant.
Okay.
Well, apparently Monkey Pods is owned by Merriman's, and it's their like
that would make sense.
lower level restaurants.
Yeah.
So I think she had just come from Merriman's and then ate at Monkey Pods the next night. So I feel like that's, like you said, it's a different type of restaurant.
Different.
It's family friendly, and
yes.
I love a good fish taco though. It's like one of my favorite meals on vacation.
Yes. And so the other thing about Monkey Pod is you're paying, like we said earlier, Disney plus Hawaii prices. And then you go next door, Four Seasons plus Hawaii prices. So going to Monkey Pod, you're still paying Hawaii prices, but it's like family dinner Hawaiian prices. And so while it's still expensive, relatively speaking, it was by far our least expensive meal.
Yeah, it's like digestible. You're like, this is what I'm used to paying on vacation.
Right.
I can do this.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So.
Okay, good to know.
A little note.
Everybody who goes to Hawaii talks about shaved ice. People love shaved ice. I know there's a place on Disney, and then there's plenty of places off property. Did you guys have shaved ice at all?
I did not. My kids did. My mother-in-law got them the shaved ice while my husband and I were at the spa and did not even take a picture. Oh, I'm so bummed because the shaved ice there, they make it shaped like a Mickey head. So, you've got like the mound, and then they've got the two little ears.
Cute.
And so they said it was delicious and asked for it again throughout the week. But there were so many different treats, and we tried all the different things. And so they loved it.
Awesome. I'm also someone that like everybody raves about it, but I'm not a huge like sweets or like ice cream shaved ice type person. I know it's different there and it's better and whatever, but I would also be like fine if I didn't go hunting for it. But I love that on Aulani, the kids can get it in the shape of a Mickey. Check the box. Perfect.
Yes. So I have just a couple little like random tips that I felt like helped make our experience better or helped make things easier or helped like in a cost savings sort of way. I have a couple little things that I feel like are valuable that I either learned ahead of time or learned on property.
Absolutely. Let's go through them. Tips
So
with
let's go
Caroline.
through some. So first of all, this little guy that you guys have seen me be drinking out of all day, this whole time, we got one of these per person.
This is a souvenir cup.
They're a souvenir cup,
Yeah.
but they cost like 23, $25, something in that range. And there are like soda stations all over the property and you can refill these for free the whole week. And so you can get water in here, you can get soda in here, lemonade and coffee. In the mornings, my husband would go down every morning and fill up mine, his and my mother-in-law's coffee so that we could have coffee with our bagel in our room.
Sweet.
But this is nice because then you're not buying a coffee every day. Um, these, I think I said were like 25. There were some that were stainless steel that I think were 40, but we figured for a couple days we're just going to go
Yeah.
with these. So get these early because then you can use them the whole time that you're there.
Perfect.
So that's one tip. Second, to get your towels, you have to go to one of 3 different towel huts on property. And in the mornings, they get really, really long. They have really long lines. The towel hut is also where you get a wristband. You have to have a wristband every day, and it's a different color every day. So it's just as saying, like, I'm a registered guest. I'm allowed to be at the pool. You are not supposed to go swimming without one. But again, the lines get really, really long, and they don't open. The huts don't open until 8 a.m., which is when the pools open. You can get a wristband at 3 p.m. the prior day to be able to swim for the following day. So we always got our wristband the night before, like before going up to our room for dinner. We always got our wristband for the next day. And we also took our towels that we were using at the end of the day and let them dry out in our room so that we could come to the pool, have our wristband, have a towel to use. And then once the lines died down in the morning, we would go swap out for new towels.
Smart.
Yes, we saved so much time and like headache with that tip. Speaking of towels, they have signs posted all over the place. You are not allowed to sit. You are not allowed to just drop your stuff and disappear for hours. They come around and they will clear out chairs and like put stuff away. So they will take your stuff and take it to the towel hut and you have to go, where's my stuff? And you have to go find it. So every hour or something, they have people go around and take the towels and fold them up and drape them across the back of your chair. And if your towel is still there when they come next time, they will take your stuff.
Okay.
So if you see that, just like kind of keep an eye on your chair, pull the towel back off so that you can reset your timer, if that makes sense. And then last little tip, a little Easter egg. They have a little Easter egg. So the pools, the 2 pools, if you go underwater, sometimes they will pump whale sounds and animal sounds into the pools. So you have to be underwater to hear it. We heard it one time. I
Oh,
don't think it's going constantly, but that's just kind of like a fun little Easter egg to be able to find.
that is fun. I love that little tip. How
Yeah.
cute. The one other thing that we didn't share was the towel. Was that in your room?
So what we're seeing here is a little, I think of cruises and I think the little folded swan towels, this was their take on that. So they had a little Mickey Mouse head with the towels in our room with the little flower.
Oh,
The
cute.
flower is a hair clip. So there were me and my daughter, my mother-in-law were all there. So we all got to wear our little flowers
Fun fact,
the whole
they
time.
sell these same flower clips identical at the Polynesian Hotel in Disney World, which is also all Hawaiian Polynesian themed, and
Yeah.
Elle has one.
Oh, how fun!
She begged me to buy her one at the gift shop, and she has that same one. So that is something that you can get there as well. How cute.
I love it. Well, you could also just go all the way to the Aulani and get them for free.
All the way to the Aulani.
That's a fun fact.
Yes, we'll
Yes,
have to
that
have
makes
them
sense.
wear it together sometime.
Yeah.
Well, this has been amazing, and we've learned so much about Aulani. And I also saw in your notes that you guys took a red eye home, which I just need to know how that went with the kids because I hate a red eye. Joe is taking one later, like next week for work, and I was like, why? Just stay another night. Please don't take the red eye. How did it go?
So it went okay. When you're coming home from Hawaii, there are few to no non-red eye options
Okay. So you don't have as
because
many choices.
you're going so far. So on the way home, we had a red eye through Seattle. So, I mean, from Nashville, we do not have a direct flight to Hawaii. So we went from Honolulu to Seattle and then Seattle to Nashville. So one tip I have here, if you're coming from Nashville, you're going to have 2 flights. Have the first flight be during the day, and then the flight from Seattle to Nashville be the overnight flight. Because you can do overnight to Seattle and then, like, during the day the next day, but we were cooked. We were so
Yeah.
done. So we got home at like 6:45, 7 a.m. in the morning, and I went straight to bed. So I didn't sleep at all on the plane. I don't think my husband slept at all. Both my kids slept a little bit. My daughter actually slept for several hours. And so by the time we got home, my husband was hungry. And so him and my daughter went to Waffle House when we got home. And I was like, okay, see ya. I'm going to
I'm
bed.
going to bed.
But we did luck out that we had upgraded our economy seats to like the bigger, slightly bigger seats. And here's a little tip too. We have a family of 4 and seats are 3 across, we often will book aisle and window in 2 rows back to back, because if someone is going to pick just one seat, a middle seat is going to be the last seat that they pick. So
Hmm.
if there are seats open on the plane, it will likely be your middle seat in between you. And then you have the whole row to yourself. And if somebody does book that seat, they will be more than happy
Yeah,
for you to scoot over and they can have the aisle or window or whatever it is.
exactly.
So, we did that and nobody booked the middle seat on either one of our seats. And so my daughter and I had our own aisle, and then my son and my husband had their own aisle. So,
Look at you guys.
yeah. So my husband and I attempted to sleep against the wall. I cannot sleep on planes. But our kids did get a little bit of sleep.
Good.
So,
So you guys
they could sleep.
survived. It was not ideal, but you guys made it. Thank you for all the details and for being my first video guinea pig and for
Woohoo!
coming prepared with so many photos and videos and props. This has been absolutely amazing. So I'm going to end this episode the way I end every episode, which is if someone out there is considering Aulani, what is it about this resort that would make you say, just book it?
So this resort in particular was really great for my kids' ages. I don't know that I would have taken this trip with really little kids. The resort itself is great for little kids, but it's so far. So we wanted to wait. This resort's been on my radar for a long time, but we never wanted to take the kids that far. And then but I also didn't want to wait too late because it's a Disney property. And so you can take a variety of different ages here, but if you have kind of like that elementary age kid, even to like preteen, middle school, maybe, like it's the perfect vacation for your kids. It was a great place that we can start to give our kids more independence. It felt like a very safe, kind of secluded place for them to be. It was relaxing, but we had enough stuff going. There's enough stuff to do that if you're not really a beach bum, there's enough for you to do there too. You got to go. Got to book it.
Amazing. You heard it here. Just book it. Well, thank you. Thank you again for all of this information and all the visuals. You're the best.
Yay!